Well, all right. In fact, now joining me live on the broadcast is Dr. Sharat Kohli, who's a senior economist, and Sanjay Sahai, who's the founder director of the Techno Pro, which is the AI expert. Thank you both of you for joining me live this morning. Appreciate you joining me live. I'll start with the Mr. Kohli at this point of time. A lot has been said about how the trade has improved, how it has garnered the business, let alone the area and the vicinity of Prayagraj. But in the parts of Kashi and Ayodhya, a lot of business has been generated. Now, when we talk about such large scale, the gatherings which actually have a significance through the religious scriptures, we also have a lot of faith and sentiment invested. But when we talk about the trade and also the business, these are the exact numbers, and numbers are giving us the clarity that trade has expanded. Once when we talk about the economy, a large boost has been given. Let alone in Prayagraj, 69 lakh people have only booked homestays for paying their visit to Kashi and Ayodhya. How do you view this particular kind of an event, one of its own kind? Also having the significance and relevance with a lot of faith and religion, but also on the other side, doing good to the economy.
Good morning, Simran. Good morning to Mr. Sahai and the NewsX viewers. Well, I think this is an extraordinary event. I just don't call it as a religious event. This is a spiritual event because it went beyond the religions. We saw people from all religious communities coming here. So therefore, I don't just call it as a religious congregation. I call it as a spiritual congregation, one of the world's largest congregations ever. If you go into the numbers, Simran, half the population of the country, I'm expecting this to touch 70 crores probably by the time the exact numbers come. Well, we are about 140 crores. So every second person in the country has been to Kumbh. That's point number one. If you take the Hindu population, I think about 70% of 110 crore Hindu population of this country has been there. So 50% of country's population and 70% of Hindu population has been there. That itself speaks about the magnitude of the whole event. Now, if you look at the numbers which you were talking about, the UP GSDP, which is called the gross state domestic product, was about 27 lakh crores. After this event, which is in March 25, I am envisaging about 30 to 32 lakh crore, which is an addition of, to my estimate, although it's a bit early to conclude, but my own back of the envelope calculations say that about 3 to 4 lakh crores has been added to UP's GSDP. Now, what does this constitute of? You were talking of trade. Well, it is much beyond trade because the kind of infrastructure with Prayagraj has developed. Some of course is going to be temporary, which will be started to be dismantled from tomorrow. But a lot of infrastructure is permanent, and Prayagraj is going to have that forever. Why Prayagraj? Look at Varanasi, look at Ayodhya, look at Lucknow. As far as Agra, there are a lot of people who visited Agra, Taj Mahal, apart from they made it as a religious, a bit of tourism also. So entire state of Uttar Pradesh, and for that matter, Madhya Pradesh, Delhi, all the surrounding states have also benefited because there are a lot of people who are traveling from abroad. So when they come not just for Prayagraj, they try and combine it or club it with a lot of other destinations. And if you go into the micro aspect, Simran, you see, apart from homestays, the hotels, the aviation sector, food and restaurant business massively. I would say it's been an absolute boom time for food and restaurant business because anybody coming there, you can't be carrying food for 3 days, 4 days. You'll have to be probably going and eating out. Then those tents, luxury, semi-luxury, basic facilities, in temporary infrastructure as far as toilets are concerned, sewage treatment plants, so many things, and the local economy of Prayagraj. I found youngsters, using their mobiles to transport, people who could not walk that much, transport them to the venue. Of course, there have been aberrations here and there. There have been, charges levied on extra charges, people overcharging for boats and for bike rides and so and so. And I was listening to your reporter talking about somebody's good. See, when such a large gathering of people come at one place, you cannot score 10 out of 10. Every kind of person comes there. There are some people who come with nefarious intentions. So they try and make it as an opportunity to steal or to probably make those videos and so and so. So I think at event of such a large magnitude, you have to discount these minor aberrations. I really don't think this can be a scar on the event. There have been events of stampede also. I mean, with due regrets and heartfelt condolences to people who lost their lives, either while traveling to Kumbh during accidents or at the stampede and so and so. But I think it is such a big gathering. It is very easy for somebody to say 70 crore people came or 65, 74. It is very easy to say. But when you count the heads, you will know how big 70 crore is. 700 million people. When the Westerners, they listen about these numbers, they get amazed. There aren't any countries in the world, apart from China, who can even match up the population number of people who traveled in 46 days or 45 days of MahaKumbh. So I think this is an extraordinary, this is the kind of Kumbh which I have never heard in my lifetime. There have been, Kumbh happens every 6 years or 12 years. But this one has been really, really extraordinary. It's caused a frenzy amongst people. I found a lot of NRIs coming from as far as US, traveling down, landing in Delhi or landing in Prayagraj for a night, taking the Snan and going back. I found those kind of people as well. People coming from south, east, north, west. And normally these religious congregations, Simran, you see more of rural people traveling there. But this has been an exception. You found celebrities coming. You found some of the richest people around the country, the Ambanis, the Adanis, some of the wealthiest people traveling. I think it has just, it's been transcendental. It has just gone beyond the religious communities, as I said. It's gone beyond the economic status, the wealth status. It has just hit people all across the society, which is what, Simran, makes this event extraordinary. And I'm sure Uttar Pradesh as a state, after March, I'm sure CM Yogi is going to declare those numbers, but my estimate is 30 to 32 lakh crores. I think those numbers will phenomenally boost the Uttar Pradesh economy without a doubt, Simran.
Well, absolutely. In fact, thank you very much, Mr. Kohli, for adding more information as far as these developments and the kind of, in fact, revenue generation is concerned and also being put in focus. Now, Sanjay Sahai, who is a founder director of the Techno Pro, also joins me live on the broadcast. Thank you for being so patient, sir. Mr. Sahai, how do you view, the use of technology also? It has taken the limelight. How the QR system has also been introduced, and then because we are dealing with a lot of people at everyday basis, in such a time it cannot be done without the use and the advancement of the technology. Mr. Sahai, how in fact your take on in fact also bettering the technology in the implementation of the MahaKumbh is concerned, is viewed right now, and also for the fact that because this was first of an experience for the administration and also in the longest time for the state government to invite so many people, dignitaries, VIPs, VVIPs from across the globe to put this perspective into complete experience for the generations to remember. How exactly do you think it could have also been done better as more technological advancement is also coming up?
There is no denying the fact that the governments were able to create that nature of spirituality, religiosity, or frenzy, whatever you call it, and it developed a feeling of missing out. So that basically engulfed everybody, and the result of which was 40 crores, 50 crores, or whatever number of people who descended on Prayagraj. And as Dr. Sharad Kohli said, the nature of economic spin-off which it has provided to the local economy and to the country at large. Now coming to technology part of it, there is absolutely no congregation or no management, no operations and maintenance thing which can happen today without the influx of technology, and that too also in a very big way. What has happened there is primarily we can bring it down to 5-6 technologies besides whatever you have been talking about. So that is AI surveillance. That is one of the technologies used. Drones have been used. Google Maps integration has been used, digitized land allotment, VR sets, remote control live buoys, and lost and found, and variety of other local type of technology which has been regular, that has also been used. Now, what has been the purpose of this technology? Let's get into the purpose of technology. The purpose of technology, primarily to best of my understanding, besides the operation and maintenance part, which I give all credit to sanitation and other things which you have been talking about, has been primarily three. So one is crowd management. Second is traffic management, traffic regulation. And third is instant communication to the people who come to Prayagraj and people who are on way to Prayagraj. So these are primarily three output or three regulatory mechanisms which we want out of the technologies which are being used. Now the issues with technology is that it is a very fast-paced developing area. So we are still not aware of the fact whether these technologies have been appropriate or it has just been a buy-off that you get all the technology, you get all the gadgets, and you presume that things will happen in a hunky-dory manner. As it happens in the country, primarily we get the technology in terms of hardware. The software, the analytics, the data, that always remains a challenge. And that is, I'll give you a very small example. So we have some 30 pontoon bridges, which is there in Prayagraj, in the Prayagraj Mela area or Mela Kshetra as you call it. Now the data point of crowd gathering and the automatic opening of pontoon bridges, that does not exist. When the stampede happened, I think the congregation was happening or the crowd was increasing for last, I think, 3 days. It would be there on the cameras. I think the data points would be coming, the data would be coming, but the reaction on the ground did not happen. And the evacuation mechanism, that was certainly not connected to technology in any manner whatsoever. And if we move a step further, 17 hours, I think the government took to give us a fair idea as to what had happened there. And there are also reports in social media as to a variety of other things which were happening. There are at least one stampede which has been reported about. So this is regards crowd management. It can be brought to a very simplistic level, even with this magnitude of crowd gathering there or the crowd issue there. 40 square kilometers, I think there are some 25 sectors. And with 25 sectors, I don't feel that 2,700 cameras, of which some 200 are AI enabled, would be sufficient enough to provide you real-time dynamic information on which the physical movement, physical control, and physical regulation can happen. So this is one of the thought processes from the crowd management side. So while we procure technology, we should be competent enough to use that data. At the end of the day, what is it? At the end of the day, you are getting data from variety of data points. You are able to integrate that data, process that data, and make it into a workable intelligence or workable data or a workable information and provide it to the people who are actually regulating and running the show. So that has shown hiccups at a variety of places. Now the technologists can run the show, but the management, whether it is bureaucracy or the political executive, I think it is necessary for them to understand the nitty-gritty and granularity of
Well,
technology.
absolutely, Mr. Sahai, very rightly put out. And now that you are in fact decoding it further, it is important to be seen that how people are also reacting. Thank you very much for being with us and also sharing your